Did I have it on the other screen? One second. All right. Pardon Derek Chauvin. All right, boom. Full screen. We're going to go through this. All right, so Ben Shapiro. If you know him, then you know him. If you don't, whatever. But Ben Shapiro has called for Derek Chauvin to be pardoned by Trump. Now, for a lot of y'all, if y'all have followed the show, then you know that I watched the documentary that Candace Owens did on George Floyd, and that there's a lot of stuff that we haven't been shown. So I do not think that George Floyd died solely because there was a knee on his neck, upper back, shoulder, whatever you want to call it. I do not think that the reason why George Floyd could not breathe was because he had the knee on his back. Played a role, but he had been saying, and you guys watch the documentary and you'll see it, he had been saying, even when he was standing up, that he could not breathe. When he was in the police car, he was saying that he could not breathe. And the amount of fentanyl that he ingested in his system was a significant amount that could have led to him killing him ultimately. Just look at the, I don't want to get into, and this is, all right, so I had to give that context, but I don't want that to be the overwhelming argument and discussion here. I don't want this discussion to be on Derek Chauvin. Did he, the knee in his neck kill George Floyd? Was it fentanyl? I do not want to have that argument. I'm perfectly fine with having that debate at a later time. The reason why I'm bringing up Ben Shapiro is because it seems as if, and one of his mottos is facts don't care about your feelings. But it seems that he only keeps that energy, and that a lot of people only keep that energy when it's his feelings that are not being considered. Now, Ben Shapiro is big, very big influencer. I would say that he's a big supporter of Israel, huge supporter of Israel. And Ben Shapiro, just to give a little context, he was once the CEO of the company, or the owner of the company, Daily Wire, that ended up firing Candace Owens. Candace Owens was calling out a lot of stuff with Palestine and things that were happening to the Palestinians. And she was calling out Israel for a lot of these dealings. She was calling out the fact that America seems to be run by Israel. Why does Israel have this huge influence in American politics? Things along that nature. Candace Owens was eventually fired. And Ben Shapiro called her out for her stances and said that she was disgusting based on her stances of standing up for Palestinians and what was happening to a lot of Palestinian kids being bombed, all these things, right? I have no problem with them firing Candace Owens. You can fire whoever you want. It is what it is. But my issue is that it seems that Ben Shapiro wants a certain level of sensitivity when it comes to approaching Jewish and more specifically Israeli issues than when it comes to other issues. When it comes to George Floyd and black issues, it's facts don't care about your feelings. But when it comes to Israel, it seems to be, hold on, we got to be guarded a little bit based on feelings, right? We can't just speak as directly when it comes to how this is going to impact your feelings, Ben Shapiro. So when he says something like a Derek Chauvin should be pardoned, and when I think about what that would probably do to the country, so he's trying to put pressure on Donald Trump to pardon Derek Chauvin. And when I think about what that would do for the country, I think it's extremely insensitive on Ben Shapiro. Now, let me be very clear. If Ben Shapiro allowed this same energy when it comes to Israel dealing with Palestine and with certain people's opinions and certain facts about Israel and Palestine, certain facts about, let's say, how many Palestinians have passed away, are being bombed, what's going on, certain facts, right? certain facts that have been presented on both sides, not just certain things that Palestinians have said, that Hamas has said. I'm talking about things that Israeli sources have uncovered as well. That energy doesn't seem to be the same. And I actually, hold on. I actually got to show this one video before I show, and this is why I got to give Stephen A. Smith credit. I got to give Stephen A. Smith credit because in a lot of ways, Stephen A. Smith had more courage than me on this. He had more courage than I had on this. And I want to play this. Hold on. Let me play this video. I'm going to tell you exactly why I have to give Stephen A. credit. Hold on one second. Let me find this video. All right, here we go. Let me share it. Let me increase it.
Drug use. You brought up a criminal. I'll ask you another question, Ben Shapiro. You brought up, drug use. You brought up a criminal record, if I remember correctly. I think that's what you said, right? Right, Ben Shapiro? Just a simple question. Respectfully, sir. Would you have taken that position if George Floyd was a Jewish person? A white Jewish person? If a black cop had his knee on a white Jewish person for over 9 minutes, Ben Shapiro, would you have called for that individual to be pardoned? I'm just asking. It's a rhetorical question because you know what I believe the answer to be is, right?
So this is the letter that, or the petition that Ben Shapiro and his people, I guess, Daily Wire, I don't know who created this, but they're writing this to urge to immediately issue a pardon for Officer Derek Chauvin, who was unjustly convicted and is currently serving a 22.5-year sentence for the murder of George Floyd and associated federal charges. All right, so now we're going to get into the valuetainment video that I feel like is just very revealing. Very revealing. And the reason why I said I got to give Stephen A. credit is because he had the courage to call this out. And I had been thinking about having the discussion with you guys on it for a while. And I'll be totally honest. I hesitate to speak on a lot of these topics when it comes to Israel and Palestine because one of my closest friends in Miami, he went overseas and fought for Israel. May be there right now. Somebody that I have never done any business with, but somebody that I potentially will in the future. And I've actually been very hesitant to have a lot of these conversations. Now, I respect the fact that he's not like a lot of these other people that will armchair quarterback the situation. If you believe in something, then go put your life on the line for it. So I respect that aspect of it. If you're willing to talk about something from America, it's easy to say it in America on your Twitter, but to actually go over there and to suit up and put your life on the line and fight is something totally different. However, I want to go back. I have to acknowledge and be transparent with y'all and admit that I've been very hesitant to discuss a lot of these things. Not because I'm worried about losing this opportunity or that opportunity. No, because one of my closest friends down in Miami has certain views on it. And it's made me realize that people on both sides of this, I don't know whether you want to call it a debate, war, their opinions. The majority of people on both sides wholeheartedly feel that they are right. Wholeheartedly feel that they are right. So this is not what this conversation is about. I'm just giving y'all context. Stephen A. called out exactly what I was feeling. Well, I can't say that I was feeling like I didn't think, well, if it was a Jewish person, I more so was just thinking like, damn, Ben Shapiro got some balls. He got some nerve, some audacity. And I've noticed in the past that this facts over feelings model of his seems to apply more to other demographics of people rather than his own. So let's get into this conversation. Like I said, just keep the energy the same. Keep the energy the same. Keep it consistent. So let's get into this valuetainment video.
Shapiro, the same day that Tate is going through all this stuff, guess what Ben Shapiro comes out and says? Ben Shapiro comes out and says he's asking Trump, Rob, if you got this clip, to pardon. I'll let him say it. Go for it, Rob.
Do me a favor. Make sure that you like, and subscribe, like, subscribe. Y'all know it's going to help the algorithm.
If we are issuing pardons, however, there is one person that President Trump should pardon from federal charges forthwith. It would be incredibly controversial, but I think that it's absolutely necessary. That person is Derek Chauvin. President Trump should, in fact, pardon Derek Chauvin. He should. He should pardon him his federal charges. If we are talking about reversing the evils of the last several years in American life, obviously COVID and its handling was a massive evil. Destroyed the economy, set us on a path to fiscal insanity, destroyed children, led to massive health-related cover-ups, just horrifying all the way around. And President Trump has taken on a lot of those things. But when it came to BLM, the inciting event for the BLM riots that caused $2 billion in property damage in the United States and set America's race relations on their worst footing in my lifetime, was in fact the railroading of Derek Chauvin in the death of George Floyd. The evidence demonstrates that Derek Chauvin did not in fact commit murder of George Floyd. George Floyd was high on fentanyl. He had a significant pre-existing heart condition. George Floyd was saying he could not breathe.
So this happens simultaneously. Elon Musk, Rob.
And let me be clear. I do believe that the fentanyl played a huge role in George Floyd dying. I also believe that Derek Chauvin was an asshole that could have prevented the death of George Floyd. Now, if he died from a fentanyl overdose, maybe he would have eventually died either way. But clearly, the trauma of Derek Chauvin and the knee, I think that it played a role. Now, I think that Derek Chauvin, let me be very clear, this is not a popular opinion, what I'm getting ready to say. I do believe that Derek Chauvin, that there was a lot of unfair. Now he pled guilty to certain federal charges, I believe. But for the state charges, what he's serving time for, I believe that based on what was happening in America, the riots, that played a role in his verdict and how long he was serving time. I do believe that. Now, that may be an unpopular opinion. It is what it is. I'm just being honest with y'all as far as what I believe. Let's continue.
Response, I believe, because remember I mentioned Elon Musk, he says something to think about. He tweets this video out to 290 million followers on X and says this is something to think about. Newsweek says Chauvin serving a 22.5-year sentence for second-degree unintentional murder and a 21-year federal sentence for violating Floyd's civil rights, though Shapiro noted in a video that Trump's pardon power only applies to the federal charge, saying the Derek Chauvin conviction represents the defining achievement of the woke movement in American politics. Rob, your thoughts on this story?
I hate this so much, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I hate this. Number one, there is absolutely nothing beneficial that pardoning Chauvin would do for the Trump administration, for this country, for race relations, for anybody else. It is absolutely destructive. It makes no sense. And so for me, when I first saw this, generally conversations that happen come from the ground up. Usually there's some sort of murmuring under, and then it kind of like bubbles up, and then it becomes a national conversation. This seems to be a very top-down conversation that comes from somebody with an enormous amount of influence. This is nothing that anybody was talking about or thinking about. So it really makes me question, why is this conversation happening right now? It makes me question, why did Ben Shapiro want to start this conversation right now? Who does this benefit? Doesn't benefit Trump, doesn't benefit America, doesn't benefit race relations, it doesn't benefit anything. And the last point I'll make on it is this. There are very few people that can actually really speak to in depth what was going on in that trial, how how George Floyd actually died, et cetera, et cetera. There's probably 5 people that have, spent the bulk of their day on a podcast set every single day, like Ben Shapiro, like maybe 2 or 3 other people that can really talk to you in depth about this. So then they're positioning themselves to say, no, listen to me. I'm the one who really knows about this. So what? Trump's agenda is supposed to be derailed. Where we're at as a country right now is supposed to be derailed because these leftists and these Democrats are looking for a reason to have another race war. That is what they love. So why this conversation is happening right now, I have no idea.
You're not for it at all?
No.
Interesting.
I am not.
Interesting. Vinny, yourself.
Well, it's weird. I sent Rob some of the clips, Rob, of Ben Shapiro back in the day talking about how great it was that they should definitely go after Derek Chauvin and how he deserves it and all this, and I have them put it up. But it doesn't make any sense if the evidence is there, which, listen, it's more than likely that he died of all the fentanyl and all the stuff in his body and all that stuff. Then you know what? Retrial, do something different. But for Ben Shapiro, who was at that State of the Union, whatever the hell it was, standing there, kind of applauding with kind of a whatever face, the only option that I would think of is that this guy, he must not like Donald Trump. Why the hell else would you, because listen, guilt, innocent or not, you free Derek Chauvin today. What does this weekend look like in the country? The country is going to be set on fire. And who's the president? Donald Trump. So for Ben to say something like that now, out of nowhere, after he said all this type of stuff, and Rob, you just put it up, all he's saying is like government has one primary function to prevent the violation of rights of life and liberty. The police officer destroyed.
So look at these. This is what Ben Shapiro said. May 28th, 2020, May 30th, 2020, and May 31st, 2020.
Y'all know what it is. It's Dak from the OG Network. And I just want to thank y'all. That's right, to thank y'all for all of your tremendous support over the years, whether you've been rocking with us from the beginning or maybe this is the first show that you're checking out on the network. We want to thank you nonetheless. And we have an ask, all right? We have a goal of reaching 20,000 subscribers by the end of March. That's right, 20K by the end of March. It's not a real goal unless you put a date on it. And with that, we need your help. So we ask that if you are enjoying the content that you like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're feeling real generous, maybe share with some friends and family. All right, I'll let y'all go. And once again, thank you for your continued support. And we look forward to growing with y'all. See y'all soon. Ew.
These are the things that Ben Shapiro said. So you could screenshot it if you'd like. They're going to go through the first tweet that he wrote. And then I think later on, they'll go through the second 2. But if you guys want to read them, you go right ahead. I'm going to continue because they'll read the first one.
George Floyd's rights. That is no excuse for our government abandoning citizens' rights to life and liberty in favor of rioters and looters. Do your damn jobs. Why the flip-flop and why right now? The only conclusion, my opinion, Vincent Oshana, is that he wants civil war and something crazy to happen under Trump. I don't know what his motive.
So? I don't know about that. That's a little. That's.
Well, why would you? Hold on.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. First of all, just so you know, I had no idea. You didn't show me this before the podcast. I don't know he tweeted this. I don't mind reading the other two. I returned to a 2-day Jewish holiday and 5 the country on fire. We all agree George Floyd, which is why bad cop is on the arrest on anyone who defends looting and rioting and targeting business on cops. Okay, you're not stealing that TV to honor George Floyd. Okay, so that's other stuff.
Yeah.
So let me tell you why I don't think that's the case. And my likelihood of that being the case is less than 10%. Rob, can you pull up the picture of him and Matt Walsh being at what do you call it? They were
State of the Union.
They were at the State of the Union. Why are they at the State of the Union? Why are they standing next to all those people?
They were guests of
Why
Donald
are they?
Trump.
They're guests
Of Donald Trump invite you?
They're guests of the.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest, yo. I'm gonna be honest. I remember having conversations with certain people where they say that the Jewish community has always stood with the black community just based on the different types of oppression that each group has faced. As I'm sitting here looking at this and just questioning, as I looked at Ben Shapiro's old tweets, it's hard for me to think. Well, let me rephrase that. Where my mind just went as I'm watching it right now, and it didn't it didn't when I first saw this video, is that Perhaps Ben Shapiro is offended, just speculating, that a lot of black people have taken a stance. I would say that the majority of black people probably lean more supportive for Palestine than Israel. Just being honest. And I think that that's shown in who the majority of black people vote for. Now, black people may not be voting for Kamala Harris to say, oh, this Palestinian issue versus Israel, Hamas, this is why I'm voting for Kamala Harris. I've had the discussion with y'all a lot of times where I think that the majority of people just vote against Donald Trump, not necessarily voting anything for the Democratic Party, but they're just voting against Donald Trump. But for Ben Shapiro to not show a certain sympathy, maybe is the right word, not empathy, but for him not to understand the sensitivity of what he's pushing and how that would impact a lot of people, I think that he's feeling a type of way that more people in the black community are not supportive of Israel. Just being totally honest with y'all.
Speaker specifically.
Somebody, the speaker, invites you.
Yeah, but they're there. So
Yes.
they're at the, so
Yeah.
are they there? You think the average person knows they're there because of the speaker? You think they're there because Trump approved that these guys can be there? Yeah. You think Trump's going to be okay if the speaker, let's just say Speaker Johnson invites someone that really Trump can't stand, and Trump looks up and he sees them there. He's going to say, why'd you invite them? You don't think he's that delicate, that intentional? If I'm running meetings and one of my guys brings a guy intentionally that I said, what are you doing with that guy being in here? I would catch that. No, he's there because Trump approved him. So Trump's ability to play politics, remember who said it, Van Jones said, let's face it, Trump is the greatest politician of our lifetime. He said this after they lost. If you remember, November 6th is when he said that. So whatever the date was when he said that. So I think Trump is playing the game very well with everybody, and they're there because Trump wanted them to be there. I don't think that's the case. I don't think it's you can debate the fact that it's not a good idea and it's a terrible timing. You can say the fact that, the Paul brothers have a documentary coming out, have a show coming out, right? It's called Paul Americans or American Pauls or something like that. American Pauls, something like that. A show's coming out. The trailer is sick, right? The way they really, it's such a great trailer that you want to watch it. And in one of the clips, Logan says, it's not about being liked. It's all about getting attention. That's what he says. Guess what? He gets a lot of attention. Shapiro is getting attention.
Yeah.
Okay. So whether you agree with it or not, but to say that he's trying to hurt Trump and all that.
We're missing why Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh were there. There was Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh, the Daily Wire, were instrumental in bringing the no boys and girls sports. They were instrumental in mainstreaming that conversation in a way that I'd never had before. And even Matt Walsh was instrumental, even locally in Tennessee, ending some of that stuff, right? So that's why the two of them were there, because, they were sitting right next to Riley Gaines, obviously an icon in that movement, right? So that's why they were there, I think. I don't think that it had anything to do with the fact that, Trump loves them or anything like that. I think it was very specific to that, and he brought that up in the State of the Union address.
I don't know it's about Trump loves them. I just think that Trump is playing politics, that he knows Shapiro and Netanyahu and that community and Daily Wire. And Trump's understanding what he's also doing. Trump is not somebody that doesn't make moves 100%. Accidentally.
Yeah, but here's my thing, though. That came out. When did that clip come out of Ben Shapiro?
Day before.
Was it the day before?
Or day before?
I think I saw it the day of.
Could be.
I saw it the day
I don't know,
of.
but it's within 24 hours.
I think we all agree, Ben is really, really, really smart, okay? Let's put that over here.
He is smart.
Why? I'm just asking, what would that do? Because he's smart. If Trump says, I'm pardoning Derek Chauvin, what happens to the country? Honestly, it's going to be all out insanity. George Soros says freaking BLM is going to get triggered, Antifa and everything. So that's why my opinion, Vincent Oshana's on his own. I'm thinking there's something, this comes out of nowhere. Where did this come from? For Ben to say that makes me go, wait a minute. The only outcome is negativity in this country, right? And the president is Donald Trump. I don't like it.
So
I agree with the hypothesis. I don't necessarily agree with your conclusion. Like, oh, well, he wants to talk about Derek Chauvin, so he must hate Donald Trump and he wants a civil war. So I don't know how you got there, but I respect your
Pretty
opinion.
simple.
Yeah, but it's
The country was on fire because of the situation.
I get
and
it.
you don't think black people are going to be furious that we're walking around and burning down churches and beating the shit out of people?
Well,
Okay.
I understand.
We have a different
I
opinion.
understand where you got there.
I think Vinny's. See, a lot of times you realize, and I'm sharing something with you guys that I'm just feeling, but when you have these conversations in public, especially when you're live, you have a lot of thinking that goes on in your mind as far as how people are going to receive the things that you're getting ready to say. Once I say something, it can be recorded, it's out there. It is what it is. People can do what they want with it. You can't cut it up afterwards and think that nobody has access to it. So when we're having these conversations, I think that a lot of times people will sugarcoat or will adjust the things that they're saying based on what's financially better for them, what's going to put them in the best graces of certain people that are very influential, and which side of power their opinion's going to land them on. I think that Patrick Bet David is, I think that when it comes to a lot of these conversations, whenever it's about Israel, Patrick Bet David seems to take a stance that is a little bit less aggressive than other things that he talks about. We still don't even know Patrick Bet David's opinion on this. This is his show. But what he's doing is he's deflecting to everybody else. And I think Vinny just brought up something that is very clear. How do you think this is going to make black people feel? What do you think this is going to do to the country? This almost already just created, I mean, a lot of people could say that it created a civil war in the country. I was pissed off as somebody who looked at this situation because I knew that they were just using it. I thought of it as a situation that the Democrats were just using to create division in America, this George Floyd situation. I thought that they were just using it. I thought that the Democratic Party, when it came to the George Floyd situation, wanted people, was encouraging, incentivizing people. They're talking about, think about it. This is what led to defund the police. This situation led very intelligent and influential people in our country to push something that would defund the law enforcement in our country. And they all doubled back on it. Whether it was Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, whether I think it was somebody in California, I forget who it was, a lady in California, or everybody doubled back on it and said, wait, now we need more funding. After y'all ran around saying defund the police. After y'all made it very uncomfortable for a lot of law enforcement to even do their jobs, to be totally honest. There's something bigger here, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I may not agree with, I feel like a lot of times my opinion on things is not aligned with the majority of the black community. Just is what it is about a lot of stuff, or at least my willingness to explore a different direction is not aligned with the overall black community. But when I hear somebody like Ben Shapiro bringing this up, it bothers me. It bothers me. Because this would put the black community in a position, in my opinion, it would put America in a position to add fuel to this race war that is already burning.
There,
Okay.
relax. I know you're the angry patriot. I love you.
love
Calm
you
down.
too.
Let me get to this thing. Just because he came up with
And you said, did your comment get removed? I don't know. I don't see, the last comment that I see is you saying Bet will check it out after this stream. So maybe it did. I don't know.
this idea doesn't mean it's actually going to happen, doesn't mean it's going to be implemented, doesn't mean that anybody's going to hear this.
I didn't.
But I think what Ben, who's one of the smarter guys out there, realizes is I think a lot of us don't really fully understand that we were tricked. Because I was one of those guys, I fell for the Russia thing. I fell for the George Floyd thing. And then looking back at it, it's like, maybe the media played us. Maybe the media kind of really motivated us to want to see this guy, Derek Chauvin, go to jail and go to hell. I mean, I remember whether it's George Floyd, whether it was Eric Garner, whether it was Michael Brown.
But hold on. Didn't it come out that the media played us when it came to what was happening between Israel and Palestine, certain things that were getting reported? Didn't the New York Times have to retract some of the things that they mentioned in articles with people being raped and stuff? Not to say that it didn't happen at all, but didn't certain situations that were being reported? So, and Adam is Jewish as well. This doesn't sit well with me. Now, I may look back at this and say, like, damn, I'm moving with a little bit more emotion on this situation than logic is normal, but I don't like this. I don't like this because it's people playing in our faces, in my opinion. It's people playing in our faces. It's people trying to leverage their power to cause some type of uprising that I don't think will be good for the country. And I think that this lack of empathy and sympathy and sensitivity for the Black community, when it happens with your community, it seems that you guys don't have this same energy of, hey, it's just facts. It's just facts. Forget the feelings. I don't like it.
Brown, Freddie Gray, Fernando Castillo, all these names, you would think, based on the media, that cops are just going around mowing down Black people left and right. Oh my,
and you would think how certain things are reported of what's going on between Israel and Hamas and Palestine. Certain pictures are painted that would make us think things that may not be what's 100% true. But I don't hear this same energy being directed in that direction.
As someone who has a heart, someone who has eyes, if you turn on the media and the only thing you see is, it happened again today, they got another one. Black people are going to get upset. Anybody that is empathetic is going to get upset. Anyone's going to get upset by seeing, oh my God, this is actually happening. But it turns out it's actually definitely not happening. Because PBD had the guy, the Harvard professor, Roland Fryer, was that his name, Pat? He came on, Black guy, by the way, and I'll never forget the story that he told. He came up with this conclusion, and he came up with a report. I think he said he hired 8 data researchers, attorneys to find out what was actually going on in the Black communities with police. And the answer was nothing. So he goes, nah, can't be. Did another whole set of research. And it came to the conclusion that no, police are not just going around killing and shooting Black people. So the people at Harvard, the people of the professional elite, what did they tell him, Pat? They're like, do not put this out there. Did they not say that?
Trouble for it, yeah.
They said, do not put this out there. This is going to go against our entire narrative. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it. And the findings were this. Maybe there was a little bit of like minor stuff, like, hey, what are you doing? You're jaywalking, that kind of stuff.
Where are you going with your
The point is this. He found that it's actually not true. So what I'm saying is maybe Ben Shapiro is realizing, listen, he might have fell for it too. And I know that it's only a small thing. Maybe this guy is just one minor blip on the radar.
Got it. Okay.
But maybe he
So that's what you were
actually
trying to say
believes that
this
he's
entire
sitting
time.
there in jail
Yeah.
fraudulently, and the media lied to us.
Okay. So were you going to say something? You look
No,
like
no,
okay,
no, I
yeah.
was just listening.
So what I would say with this part to me is this, Vinny. Do you think Shapiro is Team Trump or Team DeSantis?
DeSantis.
No question.
100%.
He's a
it's
DeSantis
DeSantis.
conservative. 100%.
He's a DeSantis conservative.
Okay, I get, but
Wait. What are you doing? You're saying no, he's not?
I'm just saying, if this were a year ago, I can understand this. At this point, DeSantis is literally irrelevant.
No,
Like what?
No,
he's
DeSantis
not.
is
He's
not
not
He's the
irrelevant.
governor of Florida. He has
It's not
no.
irrelevant.
You think
No.
that Florida, that's false? Adam.
Based
Yeah.
on what he did with Tate,
No,
he's a little bit more relevant.
But the point, it's a very basic
But
question.
Trump, you're saying that DeSantis
You
is
think-
even in
you
Trump's
think
league
Ben
at this point?
You think Ben Shapiro would have preferred a DeSantis president or Trump president?
Okay, he maybe would have preferred a DeSantis, sure. But at
because-
this point, like the conversation's over. Trump's the president.
Buddy, I didn't ask you for a 17-second monologue answer.
It wasn't. It was a simple answer.
Which one do you think he would have preferred? A Trump or a DeSantis?
He probably would have preferred DeSantis
Okay.
a year ago.
So to what Vinny is saying, I understand that there's a percentage of people that may say he's doing this because, hey, disruption or whatever. Fine, let's give that a little bit of credence that is taking place. Let me give the opposing side to why I don't believe that's the way to go. Trump's the wrong guy to mess with right now. Wrong guy to mess with right now. It could be career ending. It could be losing 2 to 4 years of momentum. I don't know how Daily Wire's business is doing right now. I don't have any idea. Maybe they're killing it. Maybe they're not. Maybe, they used to not be that friendly with Fox, a little bit more friendly with Fox. Maybe they want Fox to buy Daily Wire right now. Maybe they kind of want to, hey, financially, our investors are kind of pissed off at us because they go, we got to get.
I don't care about any of this. This is not what, and let me clarify. This is not what I brought the conversation up. So I'm just gonna end this clip right here. Let me actually do one thing. Hold on one second.
The type of people that are really drawn to DeSantis, and there are some people that
I don't need to have this debate between Donald Trump and DeSantis. I don't even know where they're going. I didn't watch the rest of this, to be totally honest, but we're gonna leave it there. I don't like when people play in my face. I don't like when people try to act righteous in one way, act like it's all about the facts, feelings. We don't care about your fit. I don't like when it's different rules apply to different people. And maybe that's what lands me in a place where I don't agree with a lot of people. And it's because I have my stance based on my stance in that particular position, not based on how is this going to land to this particular group? How is this going to sound to this? I'm not trying to appeal to people. And maybe this is why I respect certain aspects of Trump. Maybe this is why I respect a lot of Candace Owens, because I respect honesty, I respect truth, and I respect people that are willing to call it as it is, no matter what the situation is, rather than trying to sell me something, rather than trying to appeal, and rather than trying to flex their muscle when it comes to applying something one way to a particular group compared to another group. Am I giving word salad? Let me be clear. I don't like when Ben Shapiro uses this facts over feelings and lack of sympathy and empathy and sensitivity when it comes to a Black issue, but then does not want that same thing applied to when it comes to a Jewish or Israeli issue. Is that clear enough? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't respect it. And I'm not going to allow a personal friendship of mine to make me feel as if I can't speak that particular truth. I'm not going to allow a personal friendship of mine to have me hold and speak to Black people one particular way with one energy, and not be able to speak on another situation with another group the same way. I don't think it's good. I don't think it, you know what else I think it causes? I think it causes almost an expectation. It causes an expectation to where Ben Shapiro feels comfortable doing exactly what he did, the way he did it, to where he's not even considering a certain level of sensitivity like he would consider if it was something directed at him and his group of people. So That's what it is for me. Y'all feel exactly how y'all feel on it. I just wanted to express it. I wanted to address it, and people can feel how they want about it. People can feel how they want about it. That's how we'll finish this show up. Y'all know how we start off every Sunday and Monday with the goal and intention to make this our greatest week ever. That's the same energy that we'll have today. That's the same energy that we're going to have this week. And of course, we'll finish out every show the way that we'll finish out this show, the way that we finish out every show, which is 45 seconds, clear our mind, meditate, manifest, do your breath work. Y'all know what we say. Every breath out is releasing all the negative energy. Every breath in is inhaling the positive energy. And just to kind of piggyback on all that stuff, I'm telling y'all, it's a real thing. I understand. And when you speak, when you voice your opinion in public, you know exactly the things that you have hesitations on. I feel a pressure in my neck right now. I feel a pressure in my neck right now. I felt pressure in when I'm getting ready to speak on these topics. And I don't like that pressure. I don't like it because it's an unfair pressure, and I don't feel that same pressure when I'm calling out Black issues. So why should I feel that same pressure, or why should I feel a certain pressure when somebody's speaking about Black people and not feeling that type of pressure? I don't like it. I don't like it, and my natural instinct is to push back on it. My natural instinct is when you corner me in a situation, and when I'm talking about myself, when I feel a certain pressure or you can't talk on it, that bothers me. It bothers me, and it will never sit well with me until I voice my opinion. So there it is. Let's do our 45 seconds. You take the 45 seconds to do whatever it is that you need to do for you. And if you're in a safe place, you can close your eyes. We'll start 45 seconds right now. All right. Last breath. Exhaling all the negative. Inhaling all the positive. Y'all know what we here to do. Elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint. And in order to do so, we need to raise our standards to become the leaders our communities, our country needs now more than ever, our village, our tribe, our family, across the board. We need leaders. We need men to be men. We need women to be women. We need whatever that means for you. But I'm talking more specifically when I say we need men to be men. It's an inferiority complex that a lot of us have when we feel that we can speak on certain things, but then we hold our tongue with others. That's an inferiority complex. And a lot of us face it, and a lot of us will continue to face it unless we deal with it head on. So, yeah, that's just how I'm feeling today. That's how I'm feeling today. Let's raise our standards to become and grow and develop into the individuals that we need to develop into in order to accomplish those outlandish goals that we need to accomplish, and in order to confront a lot of the topics and issues that we need to confront. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Make sure that you get into that bag. For those that don't know what I mean when I say get into that bag, that means all the things that we're collecting throughout the week, all the things that we're focusing on throughout the week that's going to keep us in line with a proper trajectory to live in our purpose and accomplish our goal of living in purposeful abundance. Uncle Brother sent the gang. Aunt said, have a great week, great people. And Aunt sent the fire emojis on behalf of our brother Queez. I'll see y'all soon. Have a good one.